Hey guys, today I'm going to talk about the Elixir Collector and the best ways to counter it. To some people, the Elixir Collector is a staple card in their deck. To others, it's the bane of their existence. Whichever side of this love-hate relationship you're on, this information will be useful to you. For this video, if I'm comparing commons to a level 1 rare, the commons must be level 3 for a fair comparison. And for a level 1 epic, the rares must be level 4. This is just due to the tournament caps of 974 that Supercell base their card balancing on. Alright, so I'll give my results of which spells are best at the end of the video, but for now here's the in-depth analysis that you probably came here to see. Because of the hit point nerfs to the Elixir Collector, you're rarely seeing people place them in front of towers anymore. That's the main reason I wanted to do some spell analysis, so that you guys know what's best to counter it. The stats are on the screen, so I'll just go through them briefly. At level 1, the Elixir Collector has 580 hit points and a production speed of 9.8 seconds, which means it produces Elixir roughly every 10 seconds, leaving a 2.5 second buffer at the end. So seeing as it produces Elixir every 9.8 seconds, this gives it just over 8 hit points for every second it lasts, so this means you have to do a bit more than 80 damage to the Elixir Collector to make it lose one more Elixir. Now these stats are going to change for every level, but the thing that's going to remain constant is the Elixir production time, so we'll be using those in our future analysis. Just going to go ahead and start with everyone's first thought to counter the Elixir Collector, the rocket. It knocks it out in one and stops it from producing any Elixir at all. Then the worry about the enemy slowly getting an advantage is gone, and you can just concentrate more on the game. Initially it puts you at a disadvantage of 1 Elixir. The enemy used 5 of the Collector and you use 6, but left alone the Collector produces 7 in its lifetime, so you could actually argue that using the rocket gives you a +1 advantage. Onto the commons, arrows, everyone's last thought when countering a Collector. At level 3, due to a level 1 rare equating to a level 3 common, they do 139 damage. This takes the Elixir Collector's HP down to 441. Divide this by the hit points per Elixir gives you roughly 53 seconds left for the Collector out of its original 70-second lifespan. Divided again by the production rate of 9.8 seconds gives you 5 Elixir produced over its lifetime. This means the enemy makes back every Elixir they used to put it down. You wasted 3 Elixir on arrows. It gives you an initial +2 advantage, but a -3 after it's done its job. So this might surprise you, but Zap is actually statistically one of the best counters to the Elixir Collector. At 96 damage it puts the Collector's hit points down to 484. Divided by its hit points per second of 8.29, and then divided again by the production rate of 9.8, it makes 5.96. So while this is almost 6, it's not quite 6, which means that the Elixir Collector will only produce 5 over the course of its life. The opponent spends 5 on the Collector and makes it back over the next 60 odd seconds. This puts him at a 0 loss compared to your loss of 2 Elixir. However, if you take into account that the Collector would have produced 7 Elixir if left alone, it actually puts you both at a loss of 2 Elixir. So it's still not worth doing with Zap, but moving on to the next spell, this will start to make a lot more sense. Fireball. Coming at a 4 Elixir cost, this bad boy puts you at an initial 1 Elixir advantage. Doing 325 damage at level 1, it puts the Collector down to 255 hit points. This means that the Elixir Collector will only produce 3 Elixir in its lifetime. So they make back 3 Elixir from their 5 investment, and you spent 4 Elixir on a Fireball. How could this be good for you? Well, the Collector would have made 7 if it was left alone, which means they lost a possible of 4, and so did you. Even. This means that if you can get some damage onto the tower, or hit a troop as well as the Collector, it's basically a free hit. Even better is that if your Fireball is 1 level higher than the opponent's Elixir Collector, it will actually produce only 2 Elixir over its lifetime, meaning you get a free hit and a 1 Elixir bonus. So get leveling that Fireball, guys. Alright, on to the epics. First for analysis is Poison. For the epics analysis, I'll be assuming the Collector is level 4 for equal comparisons. This means it has 771 hit points and has 11.01 hit points per second of its life. Poison doesn't actually need much analysis because it's almost identical to the Fireball in terms of how it damages the Elixir. It gives a 2 Elixir loss after the Elixir is gone, which means an even trade when you take into account the extra 2 Elixir it would have produced if you never hit it. Also, at a level higher than the current comparisons, it will knock the Elixir Collector down to only 2 Elixir produced, same as the Fireball. For the last spell, there's Lightning. It costs 6 Elixir, giving an initial -1 advantage. It causes the Collector to only produce 1 Elixir in its lifetime, giving a loss of -2, exactly as the Fireball and Poison does. Again, at 1 level higher than current comparisons, it stops the Elixir from producing any Elixir at all. This means a free hit on the tower and a +1 bonus. Tell me the best counter, I hear you scream. Well, the initial advantage on this page is how much advantage you have at the time both cards are played. And for the ending advantage, I've assumed they would have gained 7 Elixir from the Collector if you'd done nothing. So I'm going to have to go with the rocket. It stops the Elixir Collector as soon as it's planted, and while it gives a -1 initial advantage, it gives a +1 advantage at the end. Also, hitting a tower with a rocket, let's be honest, that's pretty satisfying. So make sure you always play it when at 10 Elixir, otherwise you're going to regret it straight away due to a counter push. Fireball comes in at a close second, giving an even ending advantage, resulting in free damage to whatever you hit with the Collector. A bonus Elixir game for anyone that has Fireball one level higher than the Collector. Same goes for Poison and Lightning, but with Lightning having a larger initial cost, I'd be more hesitant to use it. Zap rates higher than both of these due to having the same ending advantage, and costing only 2 Elixir, it allows a push at the same time, but in practice I'd rarely use a Zap on a Collector because it's much better used elsewhere. On a final note, if you can hit 2 Collectors, or a Tower or troops as well as your Collector, do it! You're always going to end up with a positive trade. Obviously, if you're against 3 Musketeers or something similar, save your Fireball for those because you're definitely going to need it. That's all for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the analysis. If you want more videos like this one, then leave a like or comment below and I'll try and get round to your suggestions. Thanks for watching and bye for now.